Good morning, everyone. Today is December the 15th, 2016. This video is called No More Sanctuary. Recently, I went to a recital at a church, and I looked at all the brochures they had, and I picked up one which sounds good, but it truly contradicts what's happening in our world and in our churches, which were a form of sanctuary way back when. They said our goals: to encourage hope of recovery and community participation, to treat individuals who we support, staff and volunteers, with respect and dignity. Ensure the right of self-determination for the people served. Assure equitable treatment for individuals who we support, staff and volunteers. Maintain a culture of safety and security that allows for sharing and openness. Empower program users to achieve their potential in life. Develop programs and services to enhance the mental wellness of individuals. To enhance people's skills and knowledge, promoting independence. Assure privacy and confidentiality of information. Provision of inclusive programs and services. Create a network of caring agencies, families, and other supporters. Provide flexible, cost-effective, accountable programs and services. Deliver programs and services responsive to the program users in needs. When I read this, I had a truly eye-opening experience that when we as TIs come into contact with these churches, with these agencies, and dependent on the authenticity of that organization, we are subject to different criteria. We are made to look as if we are the criminals in society. I remember listening to a video where someone was talking about if you had entered into the system, which could even be a police, whether through alcohol abuse, whether through domestic abuse, whether through even the emotional aspects of living this life. If you came in contact with one of these agencies, but not deemed as being categorized under those titles by being put into an institution, jailed, or whatever, you are now categorized as being someone who has to be watched, even if it was 30, 40, 50 years ago, because now you're on someone's blacklist. Not your traditional blacklist that we know about, but you're on a blacklist. And really, the bottom line is that what it boils down to, it's really through major intelligence agencies that work in concert with all these other agencies. And it goes even further than that. It's far beyond that. But what I want to talk about is the fundamental aspect of what a church should be that talks about the love of Christ. And I'm not going to go down the road of talking about the biblical standards that are attached to this, but what I will talk about is that if you are one of the pastors, whatever, in a church, there's a standard that goes far beyond anything if you are a Christian. It's where you come to a point of where you don't fear these hate mongers. You don't go along for the sake of going along. You persevere even under persecution to help those that need to be helped. There's a standard of believing someone until you find out what the underlying truth is to their story. But as you know, TIs don't have that available sometimes when they start understanding what's happening to them. And that's why many do not go to church, because these churches are havens now for the perverted society that comes to watch a TI who are trying to express their faith in a community setting. Again, it's all about isolation. And when I look at the whole thing from a different standpoint, I have family members who constantly talk about their Christianity. They are churchgoers. I don't want to judge them, but they have, for all intent and purposes, been a part of the gang stalking program of my life. It's one of those situations where if you're not used to, in the early stages of the heights of what people do, and if you don't really understand, like, initially what is involved in gang stalking, you can go down a whole line of different things where you start to doubt yourself. But then one day, when you really understand what's going on, you will find that, oh my gosh, these people are doing these things even constantly. And here's an example of where an individual who sounds as if they are maybe just with a personality disorder or whatever, but the more you listen, the more you watch, you will find that they are in fact using different techniques of gaslighting on you, or psyops, or it doesn't matter what the title is. But my major overhaul when it came to these people was when I saw other people from the church participating in the gang stalking tactics called coincidences or whatever it is. They're very clever. If you're not really understanding that just because they go to church, because they talk about Christ, does not necessarily mean that they are legitimate Christians. You have to watch. You have to, rather than judging initially, watch, see what they do, especially towards you, a TI. But when I read all of this, I could not even fathom what's happening to our churches. And I'm not judging. It's just one of those reflective thoughts where even yesterday I thought, if you are a Christian, you would understand this, that the people that call themselves Christians and partake in the program, they're slaves, just like the Jews were slaves to the Egyptian masters. And this is truly what I call Babylon. Bob Marley used to say it very well, but this is truly Babylon. It's truly where we have entered a time that I can't even say the word sometimes. It's a mammoth thing that's happening to our society. Like I say, we're not all perfect. We're not all perfect. We're not walking, talking images of those that got perfected over time. But we're not perfect. But we're not criminals. Interesting life. The harder you look, it becomes mind-boggling. To all TI, stay safe.